Suppose there is a sport which allows anyone, even you, to enter a team into its competition. You may sign up anyone who you deem as having the best abilities to help you and your team win the game. You know it'll be tough because the other teams represented will have their champions, and they will have practiced just as long and hard as your team. Finally, the day arrives for the tournament, and you and your team head off to the stadium. Upon arrival, it doesn't take you long to realize that things are going to turn ugly rather quickly. Hello, I'm Jerry Johnson, and I welcome you to another edition of Against the World. As you walk into the stadium, you notice many teams are already assembled. One team is called the Democrats, and you scratch your head in amazement because they are hanging out and laughing it up with the Republican team. In fact, you notice that it is difficult to tell the two teams apart. As your eye scans the stadium, you see teams representing socialist, communist, fascist from all over the world. In fact, just about every political philosophy is being represented. There are teams present based on sex, gender, ethnicity, even sexual preference. Much to your dismay, there are not only homosexual teams allowed to compete, but they are given preferential treatment, along with a small but seemingly powerful team of pedophiles called Team NAMBLA. Atheists, evolutionists, naturalists, occultists of all shapes and sizes have assembled for the games. They are given nice facilities with water fountains, showers, and air-conditioned locker rooms. As you and your team are getting registered, a spokesman for the sport comes over to you and your team. He says that they will allow Team Christian to enter and play, but under certain conditions. The most important being, you cannot use or invoke the Bible or your creeds and confessions because it may offend some of the other teams and the fans who are watching. You politely object, informing this official that the rules stated that the whole point of the game was to allow competing ideas to have representation, a voice in this arena. He then asks you if you read the fine print. Quote, "The Rules Committee is dedicated to fighting against intolerance. Therefore, teams who display intolerance against any team will be automatically disqualified," unquote. You then point out to this official that to truly be against intolerance, they would also have to be tolerant of those who are intolerant. To not tolerate those who are intolerant is intolerance in and of itself. Ergo, their rules are really not against intolerance. The official then refers you to page 666, Article 6, Section F, subparagraph F6, quote, "The only intolerance allowed is that which is justly displayed towards those of any group who uses the Bible, calls it the Word of God, and or is a member of any organized Christian group," unquote. Now you become somewhat irritated, and you ask the official why the Rules Committee didn't inform Christian teams who may want to compete that the deck was already stacked against them. The official smirks. He then says, "Well, what did you expect? You came to the stadium we built. It is our game. We drafted and approved the rules. And by the way, we hire and pay the referees. Don't you get it? This is our dance, not yours." My friends, I hope you can see by now the point of all of this. For years, the Christian church has sought to play a game based upon a faulty presupposition. The secularists have written the church off even before the opening ceremonies, stacking the deck against us, ensuring that we will never make it out of the first round. Talk about an exercise in futility. It would appear that we have forgotten the words of King Jesus as he stood with his disciples before his ascension, saying, "All power is given unto me in heaven and in earth." What the Christian church needs to do is explain to the Rules Committee, the officials, and all other teams present is that they have illegally built their stadium on land that belongs to our king, and they are therefore trespassing. Until next week, this is Jerry Johnson standing contra mundum against the world.